we'll just pop up the first slide and I'll chat you through what we're going to do. The good news is that by the time we finish, you'll be in the top 1% in the world in terms of knowing about purpose, and also in terms of the key challenges for purpose and actually how to deal with those. So if we just go for the top slide, so we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about, in an Indian context, should India pursue purpose or should India pursue happiness? We're going to look at the emergent science of purpose, which talks about the benefits of purpose. And we're going to demonstrate to you the power of using scientific method to help you find purpose. As a way of thank you, you may not thank me after an hour, but for now, it's a thank you. Just want to extend to you uh, the opportunity for you or one of your family members, if you want to talk to me for an hour about purpose, if I can be of service to anyone in your family or you want to have a conversation, then that's my kind of gift. The second thing is it's quite fun. We're going to have a quiz. It's Friday afternoon. We've got to keep you awake. So as we go through here, um, I'm gonna ask you questions and we're gonna get points and they're gonna go in the chat. And the winner is going to get a semiotically engineered. I know there's a lot of engineers here. So a semiotics is the science of meaning, and you can engineer words to mean that they have the most impact on your emotional system and keep you on track. So that's like word engineering, Gopal. That's like word word engineering or word IT, if is the way of thinking about it. Um, so we're going to be doing that. Um, what really we're doing today is we're running past you a possibility and an invitation to help us help as many Indians as we can get on purpose. Um, but I'd just like to start off by saying, just getting us get the ball rolling. There's a phrase that always sticks with me, which is experience is something you gain when you no longer need it. Now, just have a think about that a moment, because we've got some wonderful teaching, learning people here who like teaching and children, for example. And it's kind of so. Just to get the ball rolling, I'm going to ask you if you'd lived life backwards, what would you have changed? So just pick one thing you might have changed and ask yourself, if you'd lived backwards, would you have known better what your purpose was? So I'm just going to throw that out there for discussion before we do the first quiz and dive into PowerPoint. Just wanted to get the ball rolling. So the question is, if you'd lived your life backwards, would you have done anything different?
I would have brought more work-life balance in my life. Work
Okay,
less.
work less. Okay. Do you feel that you had to have the experience of working more to figure out you needed less?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Sorry, did you do you feel that you had to have the experience of working too hard to know that you wanted less?
Yes.
You know?
I missed a lot of my children growing up time
Yeah,
and school events and a lot of stuff, even
yeah,
my
yeah.
travel.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's brilliant. It's a great example. So a lot of the people I work with, it's kind of like people feel like they're in a pinball machine. You sort of have to overstep one way in order to get back and find the middle. And this is a kind of this kind of erratic randomness is one of the challenges for full purpose. Does anyone else have any stuff before we dive into the meat of this and start asking you questions and you'll learn about purpose? Does anyone have any other thoughts on what they would have done differently living life backwards? I can certainly tell you mine if no one's happy to share. Is anyone else there?
I
No?
do not think I would have changed it. I would like to change anything. I'm quite happy with the way things have
Brilliant.
progressed in my life.
Brilliant.
Okay, because
Brilliant.
each incident has led to the other, and I'm quite happy that that incident happened to make me what I am. I have evolved as a better person because of each thing, each incident in my life. I don't think I would change anything.
That's fantastic. That is so rare. It's very, very,
I,
very rare.
I echo the same thing. No
Same,
regrets
same with me. No regrets.
in life. Yeah, no regrets.
Yeah,
Because
brilliant.
that's
I would
what
have,
it would have driven you. When you are younger days, you just act according to the situation, and then you keep moving on, right? So if you start regretting, probably, I could. I mean, 1 minute before I would have born, maybe I would have been king. So those kind of thinking should come. 1 minute later, I would have been a pauper. So here I am. The world gave me. My parents brought me here. So I just thank my life and then no regret. So probably nothing could be changed or should be changed. I mean, at least I wouldn't change.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Well,
the
that's one
same
of the
with me
reasons.
as well.
Sorry. Yeah.
The same with me as well. No regrets. If at all I'm asked what can be changed, I would say nothing can be changed. If I get a second life, I would ask for the same life.
That's fantastic. That's brilliant. Well, one of the
Yeah.
things on your scores is you're all very self-actualized. Your scores are massive, are very, very high. And so that's why we're going to go on to the next slide to really kind of round out the invitation here. So the invitation here is the invitation really here is to go. Thank you so much to WisdomCircle. Thank you so much to Swati. Here's this science called Science Eunice, which is the science of purpose. And what we want to do is we want to work together with esteemed people in India, put together a course that will really, really work and be accessible for as many people as possible. And then if you're interested, go on a journey with you to advocate people taking on that course and try and encourage people to find their purpose much earlier in life, because most people don't have the answers that you've just given around no regrets. Is, it's absolutely completely rare. So the first quiz question for 10 points, ladies and gentlemen. The first quiz question is, in the West, what do you think is the top driver of purpose? So I'm going to contrast the West with India. So what would you say is the top driver of purpose? So they looked at the 17 wealthiest nations in the world. What do you think that might be? So if you get the right answer, you get 10 points. Anyone got any ideas?
I have one question.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
is there any data which suggests that in India, increasing purpose, or the people don't have purpose in life? I mean, is like so much that it needs to be kind of addressed. I mean, is there any data which suggests that? I
Yeah,
would be
we're gonna.
interested in knowing that data, because
Yeah.
I do a lot of coaching and mentoring,
Yeah.
and though there are some people who come up with this thing about, I'm passionate about XYZ, but I don't know how to kind of balance my career along with my passion. Those kind of questions normally come up, but nobody
We will.
says that, I have a purpose, I don't have a purpose. So I'm interested in knowing, is there
Yeah.
any data there?
Yeah, so I'm going to share some with you now, but just
Yeah.
since you've asked, in India, if the question is, are you thriving at work? 14% of people in India say yes, 25% say yes in the United States, and a massive 83% say yes in Finland. So the answer to the question is, it varies hugely, massively by country. And we're about to sort of dive into and look at India. But just the question was, what do you think the top driver of purpose is in the West? Do you have any thought?
Yeah. Can I go? I mean, one thing I definitely strikes, and I've lived, other than India, also I worked.
Yeah.
See the autonomy. I mean, I would say they have. In Western culture, at least, having control over their life, their decisions, their actions, they play a significant driver for purpose. And then I mean, that's something, they 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 seriously look at it, some kind of autonomy, and having control on
Abs-
their own life. Yeah.
uh,
And then one
I
more, the
yes.
self-actualization, which comes because of that, So personal growth and then creativity, all those stuff, So they find some kind of fulfillment because of that fundamental driver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So so the number is 37% of people in the West think family is the first thing, the most important thing in the West. Now, one of the things Swati and I were talking about was the contrast between, the importance of family in India and the importance in the West. But I think what that suggests is that actually, after that, it's your job, 25%. But if you ask workers in India a key question, which is, what would you prefer to do with your time over your career? Can anyone guess what the percentage would be that Indians would prefer to do outside of work?
This is in the cosmopolitan cities like Bangalore
Yeah.
or are we talking tier 2, tier 3 cities?
Well, actually, this data is nationally representative, so it embraces rural areas, middle
Okay.
cities, metro centres. So really, what we're trying to address here is there a contrast between how India has an attachment to family and the West, because that has an impact on things. So if you don't guess the number, that's absolutely fine. So it's
70,
78%.
yeah, 70%.
78% of Indians would prefer to spend more time at home with their family. Now, I can't find the data that's parity on that, but I think um, from everything I know about India qualitatively, I think it's fair to say that the importance of family is kind of like doubly or triply as important in India versus the West. And I can't necessarily say with certainty that's the truth. But then we come on to think about happiness. So in India, the fundamental question here is it a good idea for India to pursue happiness? So we're going to look at uh, the next slide just in a moment. We're not going to go there yet, but I'm going to ask you before we go there. There are in the world there are about 146 countries that participated in the happiness report. Where do you think India came? Do you think it came 49th, 87th, or 126th?
I think 126.
That's what.
Yeah,
126th?
yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Maybe
Yeah.
somewhere
89.
at the bottom.
So between
But happiness,
somewhere around.
I find such kind of, Jake, I'm sorry to interrupt here. I find such surveys slightly misleading also, because happiness is a very relative term.
Absolutely.
Okay, we don't
Uh,
know what actually makes a person happy. I think to go maybe meaningfulness to life, that may be a more better quotient
I
than
I,
No,
I agree.
happiness. Probably.
I still feel those are
According
very
to the
elitist. Those are very elitist concepts even in India. We are still hand to mouth surviving. So we do, I think if you look at the average, I mean, if you exclude all of us, we can talk about self-meaning and self-actualization, but typically people are actually living hand to mouth. So for them,
on,
these fleeting moments of physical happiness, which are triggered by sensory stimulation, means a lot to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
on
So
Jake, yeah, correct. Jake, I also wanted to add, to what I would say purpose and happiness. Basically, happiness, according to me, is a byproduct of purpose. Okay, so I mean, I don't think it should be because if in India, I mean, smallest, if somebody achieves something, even a trivial thing, I mean, they find happiness there. And sometimes the biggest
Absolutely.
achievement, they still are sad. So the point is, it's a byproduct. According to me,
I
I
agree.
don't think you can separate purpose versus happiness.
Yeah.
It stems from that. So the byproduct actually.
That's absolutely correct. So that's what we're encouraging people to do, because I think the whole happiness idea is flawed. We know that
Yeah.
scientifically. That's what we're going to share with you right now. The whole idea of the pursuit of happiness is flawed from a scientific point of view. It's also elitist and Western because people often say,
I agree.
oh,
I agree.
well, you know, money doesn't make you happy. And there are a lot of American psychologists who kind of point to the evidence that, well, in America, if you earn more than 50,000 US dollars a year, it makes no difference to your happiness. Well, who earns 50,000 US dollars a year? You know, so I do find this thing very skin deep. So let's just have a look at the data, and just I'm sure you're familiar with it. So if we flip to the next slide, I think what's striking about this, before we go on and look at what we should be doing, is that, you know, it's all very well to say, you know, money doesn't make you happy, but if you don't have the basics, then you know,
Right.
life is really difficult, and happiness might be the taste of some really good ghee that your mum made, or just the fleeting moments. So a lot of people in the purpose space are coaching people to be happy, and that's categorically not what Eunice is suggesting. So for us, it's completely and totally the wrong metric. But let's just understand it. So if there were three drivers of happiness, so we're going to look at the science of happiness at an individual level, and this we know is very solid science. What do you think are the three drivers of happiness at an individual level? Anyone come forward with any thoughts? So there are only three things that drive happiness, is what science is telling us ultimately. It's not a test. I'm just trying to understand which parts of the knowledge you find interesting. If you don't know, that's fine. Let's go on to the next chart. Okay. So the happiness is now broken down into three things. So genetics, circumstances, and behaviors. Okay. So what percentage do you think is due to genetics in terms of happiness?
10%.
Anyone else?
40%.
Anyone else?
I think 40%.
Okay. So it's 50%. So happiness is however you define happiness, and in this context, they're defining happiness as your baseline mood, is essentially what they're doing. So it's 50%, and of that 50%, about a third of people are naturally unhappy, a third are in the middle, and a third are naturally happy. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it at all. It is what it is. Here's what it gets interesting. Particularly in the West, I don't know if it's as true of India because I haven't engaged, and this is why it's such a privilege talking with you, that most people think that 40% is due to circumstance. It's due to having a baby, a new car, whatever it is, the next thing, the treadmill of the Western hiatus. No, only 10% of happiness is due to circumstance, which is due to something called hedonic adjustment, which is a fancy term, and I find this quite amusing. So how long would you guess if you get married? How long does feeling happier last in your marriage? How long does it make you feel happier for? It's a dangerous question, but
Yeah.
how many years would you guess that, you know? So you picture yourself, you just got married, you've had this wonderful Indian festival, you've had sweetmeats, you've had all this stuff, and you go home, and then how long does that buzz last? How long do you think that lasts?
Few
Any
years
guesses?
at
No.
best.
2 years is exactly the number. Well done, that man. You get 10 points for that. Definitely get 10 points. Yes, it lasts 2 years. If you buy a new car, it lasts 4 weeks. So the question then becomes, what are the 12 behaviors that are driving the 40% of happiness? Let me just reiterate here. In the end, I'm not saying we should follow happiness for reasons that will become very clear. But what would you think are the 12 behaviors that drive happiness? Any thoughts on what they might be?
acquiring physical, possessions.
Possessions. Yep.
Yeah. Materialistic possessions.
Yep. Yep.
I think gratitude of with what we have.
Gratitude. Absolutely. Yes. That is,
Recognition.
you get 10 points for that, because that is absolutely right on the
Health,
head.
More
10
fulfilling
points.
personal health.
relationship.
Yes, absolutely. You get 10 points.
And
Recognition.
More
Sorry?
fulfilling relationship.
Recognition.
relationships.
Relationships, absolutely. Yep, you get 10 points.
Recognition and appreciation.
Absolutely. Being seen to be appreciated. So I will give you the list. Are you interested to find out what the list is? This is what the science tells us. Okay, what drives happiness? What drives the 40%? There we go. I'll talk about relationships in a moment. It's relationships, feeling grateful, optimism, avoiding social comparison, which is harder than ever in the world, kindness, coping strategies, joys, forgiveness, flow, attaining goals, spirituality, and body care. A lot of the things that actually you do as a group of people. But that still leaves us with the interesting question, and particularly that's true in the West, of just to take a moment on relationships. The longest study into human happiness in the world has said that it's only boils down to one thing: relationships. So, but these are very well, and when I say they're scientifically proven, they do it in the following way. They literally, let's take gratitude. They literally give someone the practice of being grateful for 6 weeks, and then stop doing it, and then start doing it again, and they see the change in happiness. So each one of these you can think of as like a pill. Now, of course, there's a problem with that. So if we go to the next slide, 12 is an awful lot of things. That's, if you were to do the 12 things, you probably never do anything else. And the problem with happiness itself is this sort of sense in which we're constantly chasing. So let's dive into the science of purpose. Are there any questions so far? Does this make sense?
I have a question here.
Of course.
Yeah, my understanding of happiness is that it is not a permanent state of mind.
That's
It is
exactly it.
fleeting, right? Now,
Absolutely.
which is why I said materialist, as you said, 4 weeks for a car and 2 years for a marriage or whatever. I think it is the same with anything, body, wellness, anything. I mean, the moment some obstacle comes in, I think that more feeling of happiness just disappears. So it's,
Yeah.
which is why I feel the pursuit of happiness is a waste of time.
I absolutely 155 million% agree with you. And I think it's particularly even harder in the context of a country like India, because if you're in Finland and you can afford to buy a nice coffee every hour, that might give you a little, but not everyone in the world can afford these little micro dots of happiness. So it's got a systemic problem, and there are 1,270 books written about happiness and purpose, and most of them basically say this is how you be happy, and that's where I agree with you. I think it's a false grail.
No, the problem now is with the Gen Z, the younger population, post 95. They are all following that template and that narrative in India.
Absolutely.
At least in the cosmopolitan cities. And to see all kinds of mental health issues coming on with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why when you asked us, what do you feel? All of us felt content because we never went through that. We had to, we went through a completely different journey as opposed to what's happening with the newer generation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I agree with you. So going back to the invitation here, the invitation is to share the purpose science with you and demonstrate some ways to find purpose. And if you think that,
sorry to interrupt, but I don't agree that pursuit of happiness should not be a goal. I mean, I think as humans, and when I say what Dalai Lama said, that happiness is our goal, should be our goal. And I also, what Jim Rohn said is that happiness is not by chance, but it's by choice. And I think I personally feel that everyone's responsibility, and everyone should be focused on choosing the happiness over all the adversity. I mean, I personally believe in that, and I tell everybody that. And it's a choice we have to make. Always, if we keep looking at people who have a lot of stuff versus what I have, I will always be unhappy. But if I have gratitude and if I start seeing what I have, while there are lot many people who even don't have what I have, I'll be happy. There's a choice, and one
I
has
think
to pursue happiness.
so. The science says that if you want sustained joy in your life, then purpose is the best way of doing that. If you want, and that's a choice, and that happiness sustained flows from that, as opposed to chasing happiness per se. I completely agree with you that you fundamentally you choose to create a positive path in life or not. You do to a certain extent, but part of that choice is actually about choosing to find the right purpose, because it gives so many benefits, which I'll now share with you. So let's go to the next slide, if we may. Just before we go to how many benefits being on purpose has, how did you find your purpose? Or did it find you? What are your stories? No one? Okay. Then what we'll do is...
Okay.
This
Sorry,
whole,
I'm just...
this whole group has purposeful stories, so I want to hear all of them.
Yeah,
So
me
when I
too.
look at my own journey, I come from a very small town in Bihar called Purnia, and from a very conservative family. And being a girl where everybody would get married the moment you finish your graduation. At that time, the whole purpose was to get into a professional degree and get out of that place and become financially independent. So I think purpose has moved from time to time and stages of the life. But I think sometime you go finding it and sometime it finds us.
Okay. All right.
In
Anyone
the
else got
beginning,
any thoughts?
I was really finding it, but there's some time where destiny has played a role, and I've got into that direction.
Yeah.
For me, I would say, I generally say to others also.
Ram, we can't hear you, Ram.
Oh, can't hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
Yes.
Now
better.
better.
Sorry, maybe I was. What I'm saying is, I normally say this also. Keep your life as a block of 8. Okay, so as Amita was saying, block of 8 in terms of the age. Okay, the first 8 you have a purpose of just playfulness. Okay, the second 8 you have a purpose of education. Okay, studying.
Still, Ram, still
Sorry?
issue with, I think some issue with the volume.
Audio.
Is it okay now? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, if you can
Faintly.
Yeah, lean forward. Yeah, don't move away.
Yeah. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So I said the third 8, you marriage. Okay, at that time that's your purpose. Okay, the fourth is your children, and then fifth 8 you make wealth or create wealth, and then the sixth 8 you globe trot. Okay, so you travel, and the seventh 8 is okay. You hang up, you just you relax, or you do what you wanted to do. The eighth 8, if you live, yeah, you probably again worries will come, but then you keep moving on. So purpose is something you at that moment you decide, and then you once you fulfill that, you definitely feel happy, and then you keep moving on. And as she was saying, sometimes it finds you. Today, for me, for example, after retirement for 3 years, I was wondering, should I continue with should I continue with my corporate life, and then will that be my purpose, just to keep make money and keep moving around in the rat race, or should I? But then somewhere my internal passion of being with some different type of society drove me, and then probably somewhere destiny, you may call, wisdom circle came into the picture, and then I got into this NGO culture, and then now I'm finding definitely happiness there. I'm trying to do what maybe that's the purpose. But to clearly answer that, if somebody says that is it was your final purpose, no, I don't think so. Maybe there could be something else which will find me later. Okay, so as
Yeah.
it finds you, you need to put your effort, energy, passion as you have been doing, because as I said, there is no regret of what you do, because yesterday what you have done today I can't do it, it can't come back, right? So you need to keep on moving. So purpose also finds you, and then you just embrace that, and you keep moving on. Yeah, that's how I
So,
would be saying.
so the science on this, which we're about to look at, is that people who have the most sustained purpose are also the happiest. That purpose is quite constant, but how it's articulated changes with time. That's the so that so that let's so take I'll give you a real example in a moment, but if we take for example somebody who really enjoys human potential and developing human potential, how they might use that idea and that why will vary hugely. They might go into HR, they might do this, they might do that. There's all sorts of different things they might do, but the purpose that gives people the most, the health benefits I'm about to share with you, is where that purpose is constant but applied in different ways. So let's have a look at the health benefits. How many health benefits do you think there are of living on purpose? The main ones that are proven by science. How many would you guess?
A lot of them, because if purpose leads to happiness, then happiness leads to healthy.
I would
Being
say
healthy.
three: mental,
Okay.
physical, spiritual.
That's a brilliant way of pillaring it. So let's have a look together. And oh, we've got to go backwards. Back. There we are. Forwards. Backwards, forwards. And we're at the fairground together. So the physical ones are that if you're on purpose in the way I've described it, which is where there's a constancy of purpose. Now, interestingly, your constancy of purpose might be that you constantly enjoy new challenges and change. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't do different things through your life. But basically, if you live a life where you have this constancy of purpose, you'll live about 10 years longer. You'll have a 10% lower mortality rate, a 27% lower chance of heart attack, 22% lower chance of stroke, 12% lower chance of heart disease, lower cancer rates, slower aging. Is any of that surprising or interesting to you? No? Okay. So the mental and emotional well-being, mental emotional, higher well-being, lower anxiety, lower depression rates, greater stress resilience, lower mood disorders, lower risk of Alzheimer's, slower brain deterioration. That's all from just having this constant sense of purpose. So we've got a whole load of benefits under connections and relationships, wealth and productivity and motivation. But as I've said, in order to get all of those benefits, your purpose has to be very, very precise, and it needs to be constant, and you need to chunk it up into why, what, how, and the outcome. And so there's a kind of precedence there around how you structure your purpose to get these benefits. So let's scriddle on and talk about where purpose is really, really great in the context of India, because it's cheap. It's not that you're having to buy something relative to if you were to get the benefits, the scientific benefits of all of those things and put a number on them. Well, it's the cost of a course or it's the cost of doing something, versus, buying the most popular car, sports car, which is designed in India, is the Porsche 911. That's a lot cheaper than one of those, I can tell you. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. And we're gonna practice some. We're gonna focus in the last part of our time on giving you exercises to practice to look at your purpose. But here are the main reasons why people struggle with purpose. The first is guilt. I don't know if this resonates with anyone, but you've got your job, you've got your family. Of course, you've got guilt there because you always want to spend more time with your family. So I don't think that that is particularly sort of controversial. The second thing is that finding purpose is random. That people will say, well, I was doing this job and then this person arrived and sort of went in this direction and then something else happened and I went in that direction. And so there's a certain sense in which that purpose is not driven internally, it can be driven externally. The third thing is personal style. So personal style is where it's better than personality tests or personal branding. But the two ones we're going to focus on now are what's called the P problem. So the P problem is a great opportunity. So every second, can you guess how many bits of information your brain takes in? It doesn't matter what, just throw a number out. Anyone got a number? Okay. So the brain takes in 11 million bits of information every single second, and we're aware of 40. So to give you a sense of the scale of that is like a P versus planet Earth. And the reason that's really important is because one of the key ways to find your purpose is to look at life flow. So that's what I'm going to get to demonstrate now, is that most people don't systematically go through and look at their life through all of their senses and audit their life in order to find points of what are called hidden flow. So a practical example of that, working with one of our clients at the moment, she, going through this, had forgotten that she used to go and kiss a tree every morning on her way to school. She used to go and kiss a tree, and she'd forgotten how much she loved nature, how much she enjoyed nature. For her, that's opened up a whole load of a list of possibilities. So let's show you a method to think about your life and see if we can find flow. So go to the next slide. You might need a pen and paper to do this. So let's just give you 2 or 3 minutes just to get a pen and paper and get yourself settled, and I'll take you through this, and it normally demonstrates its own value. So if I can give you just a moment to get yourselves ready. Do you have you all got a pen and paper? Can you tell Swati or tell me yes or no or work in progress? Work in progress?
Yes, got it.
Got it? Okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes. What I want you to draw is I want you to draw a grid there, which on the left, you can see it says seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, sensing, feeling, gut, brain. Okay, so I want you to draw a grid. You won't fill in the boxes, but you'll draw a grid. And I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. I'm just going to grab a glass of water if you don't mind, just because I'm getting a bit parched. Thank you. Right, sorry about that. Can we go round, Gopal? Can you? So what we're doing is we're looking at a particular chapter of your life. It doesn't really matter what chapter it is, but Gopal has lots of chapters. Okay, Gopal has the genes chapter, has the silicon chip chapter. Ramachandran, I believe you've got lots of chapters in your history. Amita, you've got loads of chapters. So just pick one. Can I get you to just name it? So just go, pal. You might say childhood. You might say my first job. You might say my first marriage. It really doesn't matter. Just pick a moment in your life. So
My first job.
Can you pick a moment in your life?
My first job.
Your first job, great. Amita. Amita, I think you've got
My early education period.
perfect early education. Ramachandran,
Same here. Early education.
early education, perfect. Prayful. It's such a brilliant name, by the way. What will you choose?
I guess my job, my
Your
last job.
existing, your last job. Okay, that's great. Okay, let's just go around everybody else. I can't see everybody else, so perhaps you can just tell me what else you would you would choose going round. Okay, okay. So I'd like you to choose that period of your life. And I'd like you to go through in your mind and see what it is you see, what it is you hear, what it is you taste, what it is you smell, what it is you sense, what it is you feel. And go through each of your senses and just catalogue what comes out. Sumitra, have you got something to work on?
Yeah, I do have.
Brilliant.
My first Himalayan trek. I'm right.
Ooh, brilliant. Shubha. Forgive me if I'm being British and clumsy in my spelling. You can all, my pronunciation, you can all giggle at me. It's fine. Everyone else does.
No problem. Yeah,
You've
I'm
got
still
something?
looking at. Yeah, it's my career which has been my greatest
Great.
purpose. But every phase has a different purpose, and towards the end, in the last 10 years, since my mother required me more because she was aging, my purpose in life was not just to pursue my career, but also give time for her.
Great.
So,
So pick that time in life.
yeah,
What we're doing here is when we do this work, we chunk people's life up into a series of chapters and see if we can find any hidden flow or things that we've forgotten about in each part of that life.
yeah. So it could be sensing and feeling.
So the difference between sensing and feeling and the gut brain. So sensing is, we know when you might walk into a new restaurant and you just sense that something's wrong. Your body is telling you something, your body is giving you information. Feeling is
Yeah.
your cognitive emotions, obviously. And your gut brain is when your gut just tells you something visceral in your head, like this person I really need to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here, just to remind you, is what we're doing is we are fishing around because we receive 11 million bits of information a second and only retained 40. We're fishing around for clues in your past that actually could be the key to your future purpose. Okay? Now
So,
typically,
so
this
Jake,
takes...
yeah, sorry.
No, right.
Across these, sensory feelings or whatever those stimulations are,
Yeah,
are we expect? I mean, I've just entered words against them
that's
to
fine.
reflect my. That's fine.
That's fine, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
just to give you some context, normally when we do this work, it takes 3 to 4 sessions to go through everyone's life to find the flow points. I'm just trying to see whether we can find 1 or 2 just in this time, just to see if anything comes to the surface that gives you a clue, something you've forgotten about. So I'll give you another couple of minutes on that. Is that all right in terms of time? We've got one more thing to do and then we'll kind of sum up together.
Yeah, we have 15 minutes. So.
Yeah.
I've written my
Brilliant.
stuff out.
That's cool. Now,
Jake, I'm unable to write anything for gut brain. I couldn't.
that's okay.
That's okay? Yeah.
That's absolutely fine. So all we're trying to do, if there's nothing there, we're not going to force it. What we're trying to do is physically, as far as we can, get you back in that time, because so many clients. So I'll give you some practical examples of this from clients to work with. So, doing this work with one of our clients, she was he was reminded that it was the smell of the changing room that basically reminded him so much why he loved rugby so much and why he didn't like corporate life, and what he needed to do, what he wanted to do, was to change his career to use sport as a method and a way to give people greater confidence. So that's kind of just one little nugget within the past completely changed his entire life, and he completely changed directions. For other people, it's just informative. I mentioned the client I'm working with at the moment, and she basically had this sort of thing, the thing that she'd completely forgotten, that she kissed trees, which she was very apologetic about and said, I sound totally mad. I sound totally mad. But for her, that gave her a whole engagement there. So let's see if anything has popped out that you'd forgotten. So let's go around. Let's start with Sumitra. Has anything popped out from your past that you had forgotten about doing that?
Who did you ask?
Sumitra. Or Prayful, because you've done it. Did anything come out? Did anything pop out?
Can I just take 2 minutes? I think there's somebody at the door.
Yeah,
I'll just come back.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Sure. So let's start with Gopal.
Yeah, I've just written down stuff. So first
That's
one
cool.
is seeing you wanted, right?
Yeah.
Throughout my life, it's been people. Lots of people doing all kinds of things because I was the place where the buck stopped. So I had everyone wanted to see me and complain or awaiting instructions of some sort or to solve a problem. And that is still the same thing in the village where I stay in the farm. It's people all the time. And that,
But that there is a great key, because that suggests, that at some level you're a brilliant problem solver.
I hope so.
And that actually that's probably, to tighten your purpose around being a lifelong problem solver, and because of the nature of your life has been very varied, actually being really careful around tightening the purpose around what are the nature of the problems that you really love solving. That might be a key for you moving forward. Okay, so anyone else got a meter? Where are we? I'm going to ask a meter. Yes.
So when I look at seeing, and when I'm talking about my early holistic, I'm
Yeah.
15 years, first 15, 16 years. So seeing is always seeing myself financially independent. Hearing was a lot of people saying no, she can't do it, and she shouldn't do it.
Ah.
Uh, Tasting, honestly, I've never tasted anything. My mother would just put whatever food I've kind of really never even
Yeah.
realized what I've eaten.
Yeah.
Okay. Smelling, I couldn't find one. Sensing was living in future at that time. I was not living in present. So I was always thinking of the future
Yeah.
all the time. My mind was
Yeah.
always in future.
Yeah.
And that's why I was always happy and smiling. Even today, everybody says that I used to have really broad smile all the time on my face.
Yeah.
That brain was that get into engineering and I want to own. At that time, Maruti was India's first car. I'm talking about a long time back,
Yeah.
86, 87.
Yeah.
That was the dream, that I want to become an engineer and I want to buy this car.
So
There has been an association with cars a lot in my life, that every time Like I have kind of gone
Class.
smaller to bigger to bigger to bigger.
Okay. Okay. So was there anything within that you sort of found yourself revisiting that you'd forgotten?
No, not really.
No. Okay. All right. Let's look at a second exercise. So if you go on to the next slide. So this is where a lot of people have challenges. They will say, you know, my passion is gardening, but I have to spend all my time at work. Or, you know, my passion is this, but my expertise is that. This is a really, really, we call this the crosses, okay? This is a really, really simple way for people to fuse their expertise and their passion. So, for example, we had a client. She actually ran the infrastructure for Heathrow Airport, which is it's a concrete jungle, as you know. It's about as far removed from nature as you could possibly imagine. And she was passionate about gardening, and she couldn't find a way to reconcile these two drivers in her life. And by fusing these two things, she realized that she needed to go into dealing with green buildings and managing green buildings and sustainable buildings. Another client was an accountant, and her passion was child development, nothing to do with accountancy. And so she went into basically a child development charity. So what I'm going to ask you to do is a relatively simple exercise, which is to look at fusing your expertise with your passion. So just take one. I can walk one of you through this. So maybe Rama, if you're willing, give me a piece of expertise and a passion you have.
Yeah, I can say basically, I mean, I'm not a teaching, but mentoring. Okay, so uh, one of the passion which is currently also I'm doing, the people who are not that privileged, to give them share the knowledge. Okay, so one of the passion is keep sharing knowledge. I've been doing that. So the expertise, if you ask me, I'm also from the finance background, so and the management background. So I keep doing that. Whoever asks, for example, when I was working in corporate, there is a syndrome called the middle management crisis syndrome. Okay, where a project, basically the top people, CEO level, they just give you instruction to do, and the bottom level people keep doing. The middle level struggles. Okay, how to get it done, and they get the beating. So they don't know how to go about, and that's where the success or failure is measured. So I, due to my experience and due to my passion and sharing that knowledge, I do that. So I keep
Well, I
on
think I think
motivating.
you've illustrated a brilliant example of what a lot of people find very hard to do. You've found a way to fuse your financial knowledge with your passion and mentoring, and that's what you're pursuing now.
Yes.
But a lot of people they cannot find a way of bringing these two together. So, Swati, I'm going to ask you to give me a passion and an area of expertise, and see if you've managed to ever fuse two areas like that, if you've ever thought of that before.
I think for me, it's kind of naturally happened because
Yeah.
expertise was in architecture. So it was a lot of it was art driven. Passion
Yeah.
was actually doing art. And then in my recent years, I have taught art to kids in my community and, uh, people who wanted to learn art from me. And so I think it was a combination of having that expertise that I had studied, plus the
Hmm.
passion that I've always loved to do, and ended up teaching these courses and classes for people and for children.
And how long has that taken for you to realize and be in a situation where you've married your expertise and passion really closely?
Just in the past, maybe 4 years.
Okay, so the utility of this exercise, I'm forcing I'm forcing the forcing the issue here. But if in fact you had done this exercise earlier, it's possible you might have seen a way to connect the two earlier, right?
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay, so that's the utility of this exercise. And the more bizarre the more bizarre the different combinations are, the better. So if you've got a passion for your grandchild and you've got a area of expertise somewhere else, one of the things that we can do together, if you want to pursue and have some time with me, is looking at fusing these two and creating new possibilities. Because one of the key things with this work is that one of the main reasons people don't find purpose is they don't have someone who is creatively thinking outside of the box for them. And if you don't have somebody who is doing that for you, you can't pursue what you've never even dreamed of thinking about. And there's only a limited amount of expertise in the world. So one of the things we do is tease that out of people. So I'd just like to conclude now with the final slide, and really say you've had a little taste here. The conclusion really is, and we might disagree about it, but the science is telling us that if you find your constant purpose, you get all of these health benefits. And those health benefits are free and they are lifelong. And because the situation is in India is more pressing for a lot of people, um, even if in fact we get some purpose more in their life, then that is going to massively help us. As opposed to, I think one of you said, a lot of youngsters at the moment are getting into, in India, the Western mode of buying stuff. And that is not really going to be helpful. So the invitation here is to help Wisdom Circle and Eunice create a completely tailored course that we can share with Indians and hopefully lift the level of purpose for the entire Indian continent, starting very humbly with our good selves. And that's pretty much it from me. So as I said, the winner will get a semiotically designed word, and you are coming at things from different directions. Some of you are coaches, some of you may want to know some of the tools, some of you may be curious to know what the process is. This is not, I'm not giving you an hour because it's some kind of sales pitch. I'm giving you an hour because I want to see whether or not the knowledge I have can help you or the people you love. So that's all it's all about, isn't it? All there is love. That's it. That's all. It's as simple as and as hard as that, isn't it?
So I just have one more request. If after the session, if hopefully if you all get some time, if you could just pen your thoughts and send it to me. Once it's articulated, we just spoken, I mean, it's the tip of the iceberg, what we could share today. So if you could share your thoughts on purpose, on how in our country can people find purpose, what can we do to encourage the process, is it required? I mean, all the thoughts that you might have after we've had this interaction, uh, it would be really helpful if you could just pen it down and send it across.
And the reason I'm so deeply grateful to you all, deeply grateful, is because while I've been lucky enough to work across many cultures, India is arguably culturally one of the most complicated places in the world. And I am not for one moment presuming that the things that Eunice might do in a Western context will work in India, right? It comes from a race of real humility, knowing that it has to be customized and also the references have to be Indian. There's no point. It needs to feel like somebody's entering an Indian process. That's why I'm so grateful to you, because Eunice's mandate is to try and get as many people on the world on purpose so that we can lift the consciousness of humanity, which sounds impossible and is impossible, but that's what we strive to do every day.
So Jake, Praful here, I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So, do you have a predefined pedagogy that you use to actually do this? I mean, is it a coaching one-on-one? Is it a elective course for university students or for
Sorry.
middle
Yeah,
management? No. What is the model?
Yeah, what's the model? So historically, it's been 10 one-to-one sessions with people. I said to Swati the other day, we're right in the middle of developing an AI version. The thought behind that is that the AI version will reach more people. We've got a set methodology that's worked with 200 people. It's in sections. We look at your personal style. We look at your a flow. We look at and create futures for you. So, but at the moment, the format is basically a coaching process. But what we're looking to do with WisdomCircle is to create an online course, which would mean that a lot more people could access, 70% of the knowledge at a price that is affordable for a large number of people. So that the driver here is really very strongly to see if we can help more people who can't necessarily afford the one-to-one. Does that answer your question?
Yes, got it. Just to get some idea so that when we pen our thoughts,
yes,
it's within that framework and not we don't go off on a tangent.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other closing thoughts?
Nothing from my side. Thank you. It was very enlightening. Thank you very
Well,
much.
listen, it was an absolute privilege. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you got something from it. If there's anything I can do in relation to purpose for you, that's my purpose.
Thanks.
So it was a
By the way,
great
we have a
session.
7-day weekend now. Yeah.
Oh
Given
my
we are-
God, do you?
Given
Fantastic.
we are
I
part of
didn't-
WisdomCircle.
I did not know that. I did not know that. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh my gosh, I'm
Because
so
we are WisGen, right? We're part of WisdomCircle, so it's a 7-day weekend.
it's actually generation with circle is really what it is. So, oh, that's fantastic. I'm so glad to hear that you can go out there and live joyfully on purpose for 7 days. That's great. Well, listen, look, I just want to thank you all individually. I appreciate you put some time. I really hope that you got something tangible from it, that you got some knowledge from it. And as I say, if there's anything that I can do or Eunice can do, do not hesitate to hit me up. And it may be that, you've got a friend who maybe it's not, you don't have any issues or questions, but I want to make sure this gift keeps on giving, which my accountant tells me off about all the time. But anyway, that's what accountants do, tell you off.
So thank you, Jake, and thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Really interesting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Yeah, please write in to me. I'm waiting.
Thank you so much, Sumitra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jake. Take care.
Absolutely.
Bye,
Gopal.
everyone. It was a pleasure meeting all of you. Swati, I'll get in touch with you
Yes,
soon.
Sumitra. Bye.
Go and make sure that farm's problem solve on the farm, Gopal. Teach the chickens to walk.
Teach the chicken to lay eggs every day.
Exactly. Goodbye, Shubha.
See you, Jake.
No worries. Thank you. All right, Swati, I'm gonna disappear. Is that all right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, James. Thanks for being there.